네. Morning, we are continuing the AACC, American Association Counseling, Christian Counseling, the ethical codes. We're going to start from 1-430, protecting persons from deadly harm, the rule of mandatory disclosure. Counseling and psychotherapy it's not, it's not harm-free process. There can be lots of things, including beatings, beatings by absolutely not by the counselors, but by patients, clients, but that is not limited there. But it can be extended to your clients can harm others, the third parties, their families, friends, and co-workers and neighbors, or unanimous people. And then there can be lots of things. I want to just mention about it later on, and because I brought a case, it is actually mentioned on AACC ethical code too. So that is not a safe process at all. So we need to be careful. And as I mentioned before, all counseling rooms have kind of security videos, so there can be kind of a little alarm to your clients and yourselves too, because you can do something wrong intentionally and unintentionally. So security-wise, we have security cameras in counseling rooms and counseling centers, the lobby halls and waiting rooms, and all the aisles, in front of restrooms. We don't have put any security cameras in the bathrooms, but so we want to just take care of those things today. Christian counselors accept the limits of confidentiality when human life is in peril or abused. Counselors take appropriate action, including necessary disclosure of confidential information to protect life in the face of client threats. For example, suicide, homicide, serious bodily harm to others, life-threatening disease, and or the abuse of children, elders, and dependent persons. In those cases, we cannot hold the confidentiality, because it is threatening lives, not only limited to yourselves, the counselors, but also the clients and others, like I said. So long time ago, well, actually that isn't still happening, but long times ago, Japan had kind of problems, because junior high school, or young adults, they got groups for beating elders, because they wanted to just steam out or burst out their angers, or for fun, they just beat elders. That was very sad, but that was happened, and there were a lot of incidents, because once an incident broadcasted, people wanted to copy it, like a copycat. There was a movie like a copycat. So some people are wicked and dangerous and evil-minded, so they want to copy all dirty stuff, and even broadcasting the news triggers those people to copycat. That is very sad, but that is happening. That's the reality. Okay, so in those cases, we don't hold the confidentiality for our clients. 1-430A, the duty to protect others. The duty to take protective action is triggered when the counselor has reasonable suspicion as specified in state and or federal statute that a minor child under 18 years, elder person 65 years and older, or dependent adult regardless of age, has been harmed by the client or has been perpetrated upon the client. So when you know your clients just harmed or have plans to harm others, minors and elders, you have to notify that to any public authorities, including police and others. Number 2 has directed client admissions of serious and imminent suicidal threats. If your clients want to suicide or they have kind of a specific plan to kill themselves, you have to give notice to those authorities too. Number 3 has direct client admissions of harmful acts or threatened action that is serious, imminent, and attainable against a clearly identified third person or group of persons. So when they are dangerous, they are acting violently, speaking harsh words towards you and others, and in those cases you have to give notice to the authorities also. So by knowing this, we have to be alert and get ready to what to do, and you wanna just get ready for all kinds of networks to secure your safety, your client's safety, your clients, any related people to your clients, and for the public safety wise, you have to have all the networks. Like you wanna just have the police department contact numbers and like a security bells under your desk. So you wanna just press the button when you are in danger, and or your clients wanna do something wrong to their bodies and something like that, and then you want to just press the button, and the button must be give alarm to the receptionist, and then the receptionist just call the 911 or any other numbers related to um, the alarms. Okay. So not only you are supposed to get ready for those dangers, but your staffs and co-workers have to get ready for it. And I'm not saying that you wanna be armed, but at least you have to protect yourselves. So, for example, the if you have normally counseling rooms and your offices have one door, right? One door. Which means something happens. Something happens. How are you going to escape your room? For example, when your clients want to attack you, then how are you going to escape your office? So, in general, for the safety wise, you want to just sit closer to the door, and your client, uh, wants to sit kind of further from the door. So something happens, you're gonna escape earlier. You know what I mean? So just placing your desk and chairs, you have to think about it, and you wanna just secure your safety first, okay? Because nobody knows what will happen. You don't assume, um, they are your clients and they're not gonna attack you at all. That's nonsense. Be wise and be ready for that. Okay. 1-430-B guidelines to ethical disclosure and protective action. Action to protect life, whether regarding a client or a third person, shall be that which is reasonably necessary to stop or foretell deadly or harmful action in the present situation. This could involve hospitalizing the client, intensifying clinical intervention to the degree necessary to reasonably protect against the harmful action, consultation and referral with other professionals, or disclosure of harm or threat to law enforcement, protective services, identifiable third persons, and or family members able to help with protective action. So if you notice any dangers, what are you gonna do? You wanna just think you'll be okay? No. You have to understand why police stations have two parking lots. One is a secured parking lot for police officers. The other one must be for the guests and visitors. Think about it. And you have to know why police stations encourage the police officers to live in a distance from the police station. Okay? If that driving range is short, people can easily see where you live in. Okay? If the police officers live near the police stations, people can track your home address easily. Excuse me. And then, what if somebody wants to kill officers because they got arrested by the police officers? So, if that is applicable, counseling centers want to have separate parking lots. One for counselors or staffs, and the other is for the visitors. But think about how many counseling centers have that kind of parking lots, security systems. You know what? The counselors and psychiatrists and psychologists, they give counseling services and psychotherapy services to their clients, and they can refer those people to police stations and courts or whatever they need to do, and then your clients can get mad. Well, there are tons of reasons your clients and your clients' families and friends and other people they can they can you know be harm to you because when they are not so satisfied with your services or any other reasons because you especially your clients are not mentally stable and just think about it. 1-430-C special guidelines when violence is threatened against others. Action to protect third persons from client violence may involve, or in states that have a third person protection, that's Tarasov. That's a Tarasov. I want to just explain that in the next what is that? Next screen. That's protection duty require disclosure of imminent harm to the intended victim, to their family or close friends, and to law enforcement when child abuse, elder abuse, or abuse of dependent adults exists. As defined by state law, Christian counselors shall report to child or elder protective services or to any designated agency established for protective services as required by applicable law and regulatory requirements. So when you notice your client's gonna attack or harm, someone else, they know, and they got anger, and if you notice your clients are gonna harm those people, you have to give notice to those people who can be in danger by your clients. That's a Tarasov duty. Okay. This is what happened to Tarasov. First of all, in 1985, the California legislature codified the Tarasov rule. California law now provides that a psychotherapist has a duty to protect or warn a third party only if the therapist actually believed or predicted that the patient posed a serious risk of inflicting serious bodily injury upon a reasonably identifiable victim. This is what happened. Prozenit, I don't know how to pronounce it, maybe Prozensis powder, was a student from India. He entered the University of California, Berkeley as a graduate student in September 1967 and resided at International House. In the fall of 1968, he attended folk dancing classes at the International House, and it was there that he met Tatiana Tarasov. The father met Tarasov in a dancing class, and I think he just fell in love with Tarasov. But the Tarasov, told him she has someone else to meet, already have, relationship. So that is kind of father's could get a shock because father just liked Tarasov already. And since then, father just stalked her for a while, and why Tarasov was in Africa or somewhere else for traveling for a while, and people just recommended father to take a counseling. So the school counseling must be, I think there was the school counseling, they provided the counseling services to father. And the counseling center, got diagnosed father as um, paranoid schizophrenia. And they already noticed that powder can be harmed to Tarasov, um, but they didn't say anything to Tarasov or her families at all. But after Tarasov came back from the travel, Powder just stopped the counseling service. They don't. Your clients have rights not to get counselings and not to get counselings, so they don't come to you, and that's it, right? So you can call them for counseling services or whatever. So. Uh, uh, so Powder just had a plan to kill Tarasov, and eventually he stabbed and killed Tarasov, and she's dead. And her parents and families sued the school counseling centers and schools and the counselors because they know the Potter was dangerous person, especially to Tarasov, and so, but they didn't want any, so they sued, and and later on, many years later, the California just got the Tarasov rules. So when the counselors and psychiatrists and psychologists notice any dangers from their clients, they have to. And if they know, their clients have any designated person to harm or groups, the counselors and psychologists have to give notice and warn those potential, you know, danger. I mean, who can be in danger, people. So that's the Tarasov rule. Okay. Um, Actually, October 27, 1969, Potter carried out the plan he had confided to his psychologist, stabbing and killing Tarasov. He actually just told to his counselor, that he has the plan to stabbing and killing plan. Maybe, and I'm pretty sure the counselor was thinking that he or she had to keep the confidentiality. Okay? Alright, confidentiality is great for your clients, but what if your clients want to, want to kill someone else or themselves? Life is more important um, than any other things. So that so um, That's why the Tarasov family sued the counselor and counseling center and schools, and California government made that plan. Okay, that was the sad story. So nowadays, if you know anything, something like that, you have to give notice. You have to report to that. At the same time, you have to give notice and warnings to those people who can be in danger by your clients, or you got in trouble. Counselors shall also attempt to diffuse the situation and or take preventive action by whatever means are available and appropriate. When clients threaten serious and imminent homicidal violence against their own identifiable third person, counselors shall inform appropriate law enforcement and or medical crisis personnel and the at-risk person or close family member at the threat, except when precluded by compelling circumstances or by state law. When the client's threat is serious but not imminent, the counselor shall take preventive clinical action that seeks to forestall any further escalation of threat toward violent behavior. So do not ignore or minimize that kind of situations, because they can do whatever they want, and if you know their plan and you know their situations and conditions, you have to be alert and be staying cool, and you have to use your reasons, and you have to use your systems already established for your safety and clients and their at risk, people. Okay, it's clear. It is clear. You have to know it clearly, and you have to just practice it clearly, so to secure people's lives. That is very important. 1-440, disclosure for supervision, consultation, teaching, preaching, and publication. Counselors under supervision will disclose that fact to their clients and adequately disguise the client identifiers by various means. When presenting cases in group or public forums, Christian counselors do not disclose confidential client communications in any supervisory consultation, teaching, preaching, publishing, or other activity without written or other legal authorization by the client. Counselors do not presume that disguise alone is sufficient client protection, but will consider seeking client authorization when client identity is hard to conceal. Well, I think I mentioned that before, but you have to know when you present and publish some books or any other reports, including supervision. Supervision means you want to just talk to supervision. That is your supervisor. So they just help you and teach you and guide you to counsel right. You're the counselor, and you have a certain period of time to talk with your supervisor. But when you talk with your supervisor, you don't tell all the things in detail, like ID, your client's ID. You mean the full name or any other just specific things, including phone numbers, email address, home address, and their cars, and where they are living, working at, and then those things in those cases you have to be careful. But if that is not life-threatening situations, you have to be careful not to open your client's identity, um, including names and something like that. And you want to just modify as much as you can those case stories when you present and publish, except you got the written permissions and something like that by your clients and by your clients' representatives. Okay? Which means when they are minors and elders, you can get the appropriate signatures or written permissions by those people because they don't have any power to do that, and sometimes they are not stable enough, so they have representatives and maybe parents and other people, including lawyers and or organization representatives. You have to talk with them, and you got the permission. Without that, you don't want to present or publish those cases at all. Okay, I know when you publish or present cases, you want to just use some cases you like, you think you need it, and that is understandable. We can learn from lots of cases. That is very nice to learn something, because those cases are particular cases to help yourselves and your co-workers, but the confidentiality is important, and so you have to know it. 1-460 Advocacy for privacy rights against intrusive powers. Christian counselors hear the most private and sensitive details of a client's life. That's right. Especially they come to you because they have problems they cannot tell to their family members and friends and co-workers. They have something in their mind, and they got problems because of that. They have nowhere to talk about it. So they pay you, and they come to you, and they tell you what they have in their mind. That most of them are very sensitive, very private. Okay? The information that must be jealously guarded from public discourse, rapidly expanding and interlocking electronic information networks increasingly threaten client privacy rights. Okay? SNS, something like that. Accordingly, counselors wisely protect and assertively advocate for privacy protection on behalf of their clients against the pervasive intrusion of personal, corporate, governmental, and even religious powers. Okay. So, especially we have SNS and chattings and posting and replies Instagrams, Facebooks, many other things they can be exposed to public. A couple of days ago, I just wrote, on my face, about something. But I just hesitated for a while. Do I need to post it or not? But I did. It can be not dangerous to anyone else, but some people can feel uncomfortable. Cause that is about churches and pastors and regarding what's going on under coronavirus situations. Because I'm believing that even churches keep closed their churches for securing their church members' safety and health, and not only limited to themselves but to public safety and health. That's crucial, I think. We all like to worship God, especially in the sanctuary churches. But if that is threatening people's health and lives, excuse me, do we? Well, I'm just talking about the coronavirus, but I just clear the voice. But please understand we don't have any students in this classroom because of the coronavirus. This is internet class, online class. Anyway, but some quite a lot of Christians and pastors in churches, they want to have services in the sanctuary, but it can be dangerous. Isn't it? Because nobody knows how and by whom the virus can be transferred. And 1 out of 3 coronavirus patients for 80s, over 80s, died. It's pretty high percentage, right? So we have to protect our churches and church members. But some pastors, churches, they are pushing government to have services on Sundays, securing. They are telling that they can secure the safety, but who knows? Who knows? That's the problem. I think that can be. I don't know. That can be okay when we have vaccines or when we have something else. But I don't know what happened. ES1-500. Cultural regarded in Christian Council, a call to dignity. Okay? Cultural, ethnic, and racial diversity are important factors for consideration in delivery of counseling related services. Yeah, that's true. So when you are talking or acting on certain things which is natural to you can be offending your clients because of there are cultural differences. Okay, because there are cultural differences. Uh, burping. Burping is kind of kind of rude, or it's manner-wise, burping is not, you know, acceptable in the States, but in Middle East, burping is a good thing that they got, nice meals and visitors. I don't know, that is still happening, but I just watched a movie and it shows that in the Middle East, the visitors got some food services from the host, and the visitors were supposed to burp hard, so which means I ate a lot and thank you for the food, right? Something like that. Um, Blowing nose on the dining table is not acceptable in many other countries, but that is okay in the United States. I was gross. I mean, I'm still feeling it's gross. When I eat a soup, someone else blowing nose. When that happens, coincidentally, all together at the same time, am I just eating a soup or someone else? I don't know. That's gross. But that is acceptable. That's totally acceptable. So when I got kind of feeling no good. So when someone else, some people, my group or the the people are happening just blowing their nose beside of my table, and and I blow my nose too. But it is still uncomfortable for me. Um, but the little things are different, but people can misunderstand your way of counseling, way of attitude, or facial expressions, or something like that. In Asian country, when you just do this, that is insulting. Come over here, little fella or something. Okay? Because Asian people using this for calling a dog or animals or lower people. But in America, in the United States, which means you can do this to anybody you want. Please come. That's a sign. You can do this to your parents, or or you can do this to the pedestrians. They can pass, or in the four-way stop signs. You do this, which means you go first or whatever, right? It's not rude, but it's rude in Asian countries, many Asian countries. I mean. So you want to just understand what kind of cultural background your clients have. For the better and best counseling services, you have to work on it. If you don't want to do that, just don't take those clients, because you are not ready for it. You are not ready for it. You can't say they are not ready for your counseling service, but no, you are not ready for providing your counseling services to those people. And you have to say no, okay, if you are not comfortable with it. If you want to just ignore or despise those people because of their cultural or racial, ethnic differences, don't do it. Don't do it. You just don't want to take money from them and don't provide the best counseling service to those people, don't do it. If you want to just insist on them, to follow American culture and manners, don't do it. You are not ready for counseling services to those people. Do not take their money only, don't provide the best counseling services. That is ripping off, and that is telling a lie to yourselves too. Don't do it. Because you are not mature enough, or you are not ready for that, okay? Cultural competency signifies a minimum level of knowledge and awareness that represents such things as the values, norms, and traditions of another that influence perception. Thoughts, attitudes, beliefs identify communication-related dynamics, behaviors, life experiences, customs, spirituality, and the understanding of the causes, symptomology, and remedy of human problems. So there can be lots of things you need to consider. Well, that does not mean you have to know everything. You cannot. Even you grown up in a same cultural background, same town, still there can be differences, right? And how many ethnicities are living in the United States? Almost more than 200, more than 1,000. It's because there can be tribes and many other things. You have to consider. If you don't want to just work on it, and if you don't want to just try to understand those things, you are not ready for that. Okay, you are not ready for that. That is attitude-wise and the vocational, professionality-wise, you are not ready for it. Don't do it. Okay. Because America is the United States, and there are lots of diversities, ethnicity-wise, race-wise, okay, culture-wise, okay? Be mature and get ready for your services to people. They need you, that's why they come to you, and they pay you. And you want to just provide the best services. 1-510, affirming the worth and values of others. Christian counselors recognize, Christians, it's simple, I think I told you, all people are created by God, okay? Americans, Asians, or Europeans, many other Latin Americans, Africans. We are believing God as our Father, the Lord, and we are Christians. If you are Christians, God is the creator. He created you, and He created Africans, He created Asians, He created Europeans. He created Native Indians. He created Jewish. He created German. He created North Korean. Okay? He created Iranian. He created Palestinians. He created all people. That means if you despise any group, any people around you, that is insulting God. So Christians are not supposed to discriminate. Am I right? How their counselors can discriminate other ethnicity people? how Christians can kill, shoot African Americans in America. They are not Christians. They are not supposed to be Christians. If they are Christians, they are wrong Christians. They don't understand what the Bible says. They don't understand God. If some people despise and ignore Palestinians, if some people despise the Europeans, think about it. Christians means Christians need to understand what Christians are for, who they are. Okay? Christian counselors recognize and acknowledge that all people have been created in the image of a holy God, and therefore all clients have an innate right to be valued and respected, to receive ethical care, and to be treated with the utmost dignity. That's it. That's it. If you don't understand that, if you don't want to practice that, don't call yourself Christians. Okay? Okay? One dash five. Well, churches are not centers to kind of a killing center other people, but they used to serve like that before. I don't want churches to serve that kind of thing. The dirty, nasty, murderer spirited spirits nowadays. 1-520 Cultural competency. Christian counselors honestly strive to develop and maintain culturally competition awareness and practices such as but not limited to 1. Awareness of one's personal worldview and its impact on the counseling process. So if you have any other different ethnic or different culture-based people, clients, you have to study for it. You have to ask your clients, you need to study, just Google it. Isn't it simple? Google it. Or watch some video clips from YouTube. There are a bunch of it. Okay? Or you can read it. Number 2, knowledge of various cultural practices and worldviews, including those that may conflict with the Judeo-Christian worldview. Number 3, cross-cultural sensitivity and skills that enhance the helping process. Alright, 1-530, working with persons of different faith, religions, and beliefs. Because you are Christian counselors, you want to counsel only Christians, go ahead. Okay? It's hard to discriminate, but if you just write down Christian Counseling Center, I think Christians will come to you. I don't think Buddhists come to you, when they read that kind of signs or names of your business. But you are not only Christian counselors, but counselors, right? So you want to serve all people. And if you have Buddhists or Hindus and Muslims or something else, or if they have different values than what you have, and you have to think about it. Counselors work to understand the client's belief system, always maintain respect for the client, and strive to understand when faith and values issues are important to the client and foster values inform the client's decision making in counseling. I mean, I'm just laughing because something in my mind, I got a mission training in the States, and I outreached to an Asian country that was Philippines. My group leader just warned us especially not to wear short pants, because when a man wears short pants, that can be sexually, you know, problem to in the public. So I got shocked. What? Philippines is hot countries. I mean, the temperature wise, it's pretty hot. So when I look on the streets, almost all people are wearing short pants and slippers. I was, I and my friends, was wearing long pants because of the warning, and we were just sitting in a cafe, and we were talking about the short pants. So we just asked a person, a Philippine na, which is a woman, beside our table, and just excuse me, and we asked, if a man, especially the foreigners, are wearing the short pants, it can be sexually kind of a problem, or do they got shocked and they said no way. My goodness. Well, we just asked to other people. I and my New Zealand friend, one of my best friends, and then I said to others, the same thing, and they said no, no way. That was, I think that was ridiculous. I don't know how the group leader just learned that. Maybe learned that from a person who is not normal, or I don't know. If he told us that wearing short pants is not appropriate as missionaries or mission trip people, so he can recommend us to encourage us or order us to wear long pants only. That is acceptable. That is understandable, right? But he told us not to wear short pants because of it can be sexually, something. Well, I don't know. Maybe he misunderstood that because he just learned that from a person, not from all. Well, excuse me. So you're gonna get right information, okay? Because we all are opinionated, but we can find general or common sense, the general things people are thinking. Christian counselors do not withhold services to anyone of a different race, ethnic group, faith, religion, denomination, or value system. If they want, they can do that. I don't know if that is right according to the laws or whatever, but you can refer to others if you are not comfortable with those people, but basically we don't want to just discriminate those people. I mean, at least we can selectively provide a counseling service to those clients. 1-530 A. Not imposing values. Not imposing values means you have your own value and you want to just let your clients have the same values you have. Then why Christian counselors may expose clients or the community at large to their faith orientation, they do not impose their religious beliefs or practices on clients. Counseling service is not evangelism. Evangelizing people. Don't take your counseling sessions as a chance to, spread the gospels or whatever. It's not. You can do that, on the streets or to your neighbors, or you can just knock the doors in your community, but counseling sessions is not for that. Okay. 1-540 cultural sensitivity. Christian counselors proactively communicate with clients in a culturally sensitive manner, especially when obtaining consent, defining the scope of care during assessment and evaluation procedures, including instruments that are selected, and addressing any developmental and or linguistic issues that may be present. Okay? Well, if you don't quite understand your client's background, the cultural background, race, ethnicity, then you can ask questions or you can ask them to tell you if they are not comfortable with, the way of talking, the way of your behaviors and gestures, and you can just think about it. Well, a missionary in Middle East, just told me, shared a story. A friend, she visited a restaurant with her friend in Middle East, and your friend just ordered some food in the restaurant, and her friends were coming back to the table, and her friend didn't say anything, but she could understand that the restaurant doesn't have what they want. How? Because of this gesture. I don't quite remember if that is right. That means no. Right? I say no. Okay? I say no. That means no. Or don't do. Or something like that. Okay? This is a yes for me. But in the Middle East, I think that's from an ethnic group or a country. That means no. I don't know if that means yes or not, but and her friends did this, and she noticed that they don't have it, right? Then, but in Asian country, I don't know. In Korea, if you say that means what? It's kind of ignoring or something. What? That is something like that. So that's a good idea to do this on the streets in Korea. But anyway, if you don't know, you can ask questions to your clients and ask your clients to tell you whenever they feel uncomfortable with you. Alright? 1-550 action if value differences interfere with counseling. Christian counselors work to resolve problems. Yes, always in the client's best interest, not your interest. When differences between counselors and client values become too great and adversely affect the counseling process, this may include 1. Discussion of the issue as a therapeutic matter, renegotiation of the counseling agreement, consultation with a supervisor or trust colleague, or as a last resort, referral to another counselor if the differences cannot be reduced or bridged, and then the only in compliance with applicable state and federal law and all regulatory requirements. Okay? Easy. But following those codes is not easy sometimes because you want to make money or you are not quite familiar with those situations, or you don't want to just work on it or something like that. So depends on the situations. It can be harder for you counselors to practice those codes. Okay, knowing doesn't guarantee that you do follow it. Right? ES 1-600 case management in Christian counseling, or call to soundness. Case management. Comprehensive and thorough case management always considers the whole person biologically, psychologically, emotionally, cognitively, socially, culturally, relationally, and spiritually. It requires a thoughtful and systematic coordination of needed services that are in the best interest of the client, including assessment, diagnosis, treatment, planning, care, implementation, ongoing therapeutic review and discharge, and aftercare coordination. Soundness for Christian counselors implies the use of the empirically validated and evidence-based treatments that also integrate biblical principles. Okay, so that's the basic counseling case management. Okay. So for the sound counseling environment and process, you wanna just do those things. Okay. 1-610 treatment planning. Christian counselors actively involve clients in the treatment planning process, and in doing so, identify potential support systems and resources that may be engaged in which are sensitive to socio-cultural dynamics. Okay. So after the first interview with your clients, you can just think about the particular counseling planning for your clients, because all clients are different, and so your strategy, your plan for counseling services can be different, and when you make plans for the services, you want to just talk with your clients and explain all the things to your clients about the counseling plans, and you can get some their opinions also, and then you can just finalize your counseling plan. If that plan can be adjusted and changed anytime you feel, and you want to just talk with your clients about it too. Okay. Okay, so they have to understand what kind of plan you have, and then they're gonna just follow your plan as much as they can, because they want to get good help from you. They expect, the fine and nice counseling services from you, and then at the same time you want to just find the best results from your counseling services, and you can get help from your the cooperation from your clients. Without that, both parties can be fair and just spend time only. Okay, I think that is it. Well, I think I couldn't finish all the ethical codes in AACC, but um, since this is the last time, um, we cannot finish them all, but we basically took care of many things about ethical code in Christian counselings, and hopefully that help you, and you can just read the rest of it at home, and then I think you're gonna be aware of what kind of ethical codes you have to keep, and just follow the codes carefully, and that is because that is for you and your clients and for your counseling services. So knowing that is very important, and get ready to practice it, and you want to just get used to it, and just read that ethical codes once in a while, so you want to just update that also, and then um, it can be a great help for the counseling services you are doing for your clients who are vulnerable. Um, so your work, you serve, um, your serving is great for not only for your clients and their families and friends, and you are serving this community in this country. So that is great work, and keep up your good work, and hopefully you can have beautiful results, and you can enjoy the process and service. I think that's it for you. That's it for this class, and hopefully see you at the